Today I'm talking about my home management binder. It's just a simple dollar from Target. If you're like me, you have not caught up and got ahead from the pandemic. Part of it probably is because I've had 2 babies in the last 3 years. We are a family of 8. We have 6 kids, 12 and under. And this year, 2023, I really want to get a good handle on our food and our linen closet, like our shampoos and soaps. And so what I did is I separated into categories to help me. Anything that comes into the house this year, I want to be able to put it in here so I can really track. I have an idea about certain things in the kitchen, like my coconut oil. I have a trick that I just write in a permanent marker on the top when I opened it, and I know how long it lasts me. But I wanted to go more in depth in 2023 to really find out how much we use of certain things. You know, we're post-pandemic. About 6 months ago, I was realizing we were buying a lot more convenience things, which was stressing my grocery budget. And so I'm going back to, an ingredient type pantry. We live within the city limits, and although I've had a small garden the last 7 years, it doesn't really produce enough for me to can and to have a huge garden pantry. So it's just my season of life where I'm in, to take an inventory on where I'm at right now, what I can do this year. Anyway, back to my home management binder that I created. So I didn't go through my pantry as far as really in depth of like what I have, because we're not all starting from zero, right? So I'm just going from January on. So what I'm doing is every time I go grocery shopping, I'm writing in my binder what I've bought so I can kind of keep an inventory. My goal is next year, or when we get a home where I have a stock room or a bigger pantry, I can buy, 6 months worth of toilet paper and olive oil and things like that. Right now, this year, I'm just focusing on what do we actually consume in 6 months or a year. So that's my goal with this. I also tab just with some cute washi. I broke down my pages in here. I broke down my linen closet, which we actually call it the hallway closet. It's where I keep our shampoo and extra toothpaste and toilet paper and tissues and things like that. So I have a section of, I call it beauty care. So anything I've bought this month, I wrote down how many I've bought so I can keep track. I have non-food household. That includes gallon bags, coffee filters, parchment paper, hand sanitizer, batteries. I have cleaner section, scrubby, dishwash soap, dish soap, vinegar, barkeeper, laundry soap, that stuff. And then I have a section of fridge items. I have 2 sections for fridge. I have the store extra in the pantry, things I can buy and don't actually have to store in the fridge right away, like ketchup, black olives, apple cider vinegar, maple syrup, those things that I can keep in the pantry until they're actually opened. And then I have fridge stuff for cold stuff. That's ranch, creamer, mozzarella, butter, cream cheese, eggs. Oh, the eggs. And then, of course, I have my pantry staples, everything. I went through my pantry and tried to list everything I have in my pantry so I can keep track of it. And, of course, I left room to continue to add to it. I'm a pen and paper person. Ideally, I would have this in Excel and have it alphabetized and all that and color coded and all that stuff. But honestly, pen and paper is where my brain goes. So I have that section. Then I also thought, since I have this notebook, I'm going to try to keep up with this, but I wanted to write down our meals that we actually ate. I do menu plan. My husband does a lot of cooking. We were off for Christmas break and he was a huge help. But I started a January list and I wrote down what we actually ate, not the menu plan. I keep my menu plan. I have printables and I just print them off and fill them in and keep them on the fridge. But I wanted to write down what we actually ate, whether that's going out to eat or whatever. So that's a section I have. I also have an actual section of what I spent. So we do budget, and so I'm writing down the month, and then I'm writing down everything I spent that month, and then what store I went to. And then I also, over here, I actually wanted to keep track of how much we eat out and what we spent on eating out. So I know these are things that I can go through my monthly budget, but if it's all here, I can quickly find it instead of calculating it up like on my online budget every month, which I can go through fine. But it's, my brain works all together. I wanted to keep it. And then I have extra pages, you know, to fill in. But ultimately, my goal is to keep track of how much we spend and eat, and try to really get back into, like I said, buying ingredients. So I put into place in the last year, really going back to, which I've done it on and off the last couple years, monthly grocery shopping, where I do a Costco run. I do a 2-week run for fresh produce and things that my husband uses for work. And then the last 6 months, I have been buying through Azure Standard. I'm finding more and more stuff that I'm buying is, if I can find it on Azure, it's actually much cheaper than going to, we have a local store called Fresh Time, which they've gotten bought out, so they've expanded more. But before, I could find like the good toothpaste and non-toxic shampoo and stuff that I couldn't find just at Target or Kroger when I did like order pickups. Fresh Time has now expanded, but I'm still comparing prices, and Azure is like, my soap is 60 cents cheaper per bar at on Azure, even though I can buy the same thing at Fresh Time. Same with my shampoo. They do a sale that's like 33% off, you know, a couple times a year at Fresh Time, but even that sale price didn't beat Azure. So I'm finding that I'm buying more and more from Azure. So I'm doing a Costco run and Azure, not always on the same day, but going back to that monthly grocery shopping, if I can start combining them so it's 1 day of errands per month and then 1 fill-in, so twice a month, it's going to save me a whole lot of time and a whole lot of money and not going to the store. But I know that has to do with having a stocked pantry. I know that has to do with having a meal plan and keeping things so available, so I don't have to keep running to the store for every little thing. But I was finding the last few months, you know, probably since I had the baby, I kind of relaxed on, you know, keeping stock of things. And instead of putting my list the last time I pull something out, I'm waiting until I'm literally running out of, you know, we have a sliver of soap in the shower and I'm running to the store for soap because I don't have a stock up. So that is my huge homemaking goal of 2023, is really keeping track of what we're eating, what we're using, and on top of my monthly grocery hauls is I want to be able to focus on 2 household items that I'm getting caught up on and 2 food things that I can get stocked up on. So for instance, I have 5 pounds of salt coming from Azure, and then I have 6 things of soap from Azure coming. So I'm stocking up on 2 household products and 2 food things, really focusing on getting like farther and farther ahead, like 3 months worth stocked up at once. But I know it takes time, and we have to let the budget allow what we can budget for. And if I find a sale and I'm trying to stock up on something, which helps my budget, and also buying real ingredients. And we homeschool, so part of that is that we eat at home a lot. But to make things fun and interesting, the kids and I and my husband are trying to find different foods and learning to cook new foods, or foods that we would normally buy from the store, we're buying at home. And just, you know, I overheard my 2 big kids saying, you know, talking about food, and they're like, homemade is always better. So that makes me feel good. I hope to be sharing this year my Azure hauls, my Costco hauls, other homemaking things. I hear my baby. Be right back. This is our youngest. Does he look like mama? In here, you do definitely look like your mama.